So before doing Jabu, obviously you have to get inside Jabu. Um, for that you're gonna need Brutus Ladder. Ideally, you also have the boomerang. You can go without the boomerang inside. There's only one check you can do without it, which is the Stinger's room. We're gonna go through. Um, and well, logically you need Zelda's Lullaby or a scale. So let's say you have a scale. If you have a scale, all you gotta do is just go to Lake Hylia, and from there you dive on the hole there. 6-second dive is enough. Pop up the other side, hand in the ladder, bam, you're done. Um, if you don't have a scale, you need some sort of explosive here, because these boulders are gonna be in your way. Can be bombs, can be chews, doesn't matter really. There's a skull in this tree here, very fast to get, if you want to. If you can hit the tree, obviously. There's a skull. Now, I like when I can joining the doing of Jabu with the river checks. I like doing the mesquite usually because there's the frog check as well, usually. If you need beans, you can grab them from this guy here. What I usually do is I throw the chicken here on the fence, buy the beans from him. Max beans you're gonna need in a seed are 4, maybe 5, I'll tell you why. But you might need one for the graveyard, you might need one for crater, if you don't have hovers there. The graveyard one you can skip if you have a boomerang, if you do the whole throw and backflip thingy, or you can use a long shot as well. Then you have Lake Hylia, which if you have a hook shot you don't need because you can use the scarecrow. And finally you have the Colossus one on the desert, which that one you absolutely need if you need to get up there. So for if you have more money than you know what to do with, you can grab an additional bean and plant it right here. So if you come as adult, choose Zora River, and you don't have minuet or don't have a scale or iron boots, in which case it's faster to come from the forest side, you can plant a bean here, and as adult you're gonna grab this bean, and you're gonna go right through the fence here and get to the grotto. So that is a little time save there. Since I'm playing on the original version, I might say, the text is not sped up. So now, okay. Assuming you get all the beans you need, next up you're going to come up to the river here. Let's say you come here and you see that there's a good item up there. Well, what do? Easy. Just come over here with your chicken. That check you can do as adult with hovers really easily, and you can do without anything with a setup. I might show in a later video. You can just throw the chicken down there. It's going to go straight ahead. So now you grab this piece of heart here. The chicken's going to go straight ahead to that corner over there, so you can pick it up. If you have Song of Storms, great stuff. Just come over here, play it. The frogs are going to give you a check. You can also play the other 5 songs if you want 50 rupees for some reason. Or if you need to do frog shoe check, hopefully not. Now coming up here, you can throw the chicken and climb ahead, or you can just, if you jump on the side here, you can make it with less of a hassle. Now you have the grotto check here, which you can do as adult without any requirements. As kid you do need the chicken. Should drop it, go through the stairs here. Grotto is always open, you don't need explosives for it. Effect the sphere 0 check. There's a grotto, there's a handstone as well. There's another chicken here. Let me just change my targeting mode here. Hang on. The settings, I think. Right? No? 5, I think. Yeah, Z targeting. So switch and put it on hold. Much better. Okay, great stuff. So now after you come out of that hole, you're going to pick up the chicken here. You can check that handstone there. Always good having additional information. So you just should drop the chicken, read the stone, pick up the chicken again very fast. Don't waste time. Now we float over here, and we're gonna do the top of the river here. Now this next item, this next check, you ordinarily need, well, if you're adult, you need hovers. If you get here with the chicken, obviously you can float up there. Be very careful to not lose the chicken here if you do not have Zora's Lullaby. Because a very easy trick that you can do, I'm going to save state here. Okay, so a very easy trick that you can do that is out of the logic, but say you have Ruto's ladder, you have a boomerang, and Jabu's a medallion, but you don't have Zelda's Lullaby. Will you wait for it? Of course not. Just come here with a chicken, and we're going to do Coco entry. So you can get the Skulltula that is on this stairs down there, and also get the Hindstone, but you risk losing the chicken. So if I come up here with the chicken, I just skip those checks. If you have ZL, obviously you can just ditch the chicken, do the checks, and then come up here and play Zelda's Lullaby. Well, assume you don't have Zelda's Lullaby, how do you enter with a Coco? So you see the little gap, or the division, the line dividing the waterfall and the wall. You don't wanna contact the waterfall or anything to the right of it. So you wanna clearly go to the brown side of the wall, as if. So if I come straight up here, for example, I'm probably gonna hit the waterfall and not make it. And let's see. See? So it doesn't work. Now let's load the state here. This is one of those things that if you miss, you're gonna be very mad. Let me save state here. It's much better. Because the chickens, you lost the chicken, you're gonna have to go all the way back down the river, pick up the chicken, climb all the way again, and then try entering again. That's like at least 2 minutes time loss right there. So you really want to take your time here and make sure you don't miss the jump. If you go to the division, it's a bit iffy, you can miss it, so let's try it here. You see I missed it again. I'm clearly ahead of the waterfall. So what you want to do really is line up and really take your time with this. Like missing this is a huge kick in the nads. And just go for the wall like this. Now I'm clearly behind, and there we go. I've entered without the chicken. Sometimes you might not have enough height here, so you can just, let me load state again. Let me see if I can show that. Let's say I go too far to the left here for some reason, and now I don't have enough height, so what you can do is you can shield drop the chicken as a last resort. He's gonna grab the ledge, and there you go. You are inside Zora's domain without the lullaby. Good stuff. Now, we're coming up to domain here. Usually you're gonna have Ruto's ladder here, right? So let's say I have Ruto's here. In fact, I think I'm gonna have to, well, if you need nuts, you have 5 nuts here. And if you need sticks, you have 1 stick here. These, and they both respawn as you enter and exit the shop. You also need 20 rupees to do the mini game. So if you don't have 20 rupees for some reason, you can grab the spot here. It's gonna have a 5er. So just go in and out of the shop max 4 times, and you're gonna get your 20 rupees. So let me spawn Bruto's ladder here in my inventory real fast. Return inventory. I think it's this, yeah. The practice room is really good to do all these kind of things. Okay, now I have the bottle. I despawn my ocarina. Okay, okay, okay. Right, now I have the ladder here, good stuff. So you get your sticks, you have your 20 rupees, make sure you have 20 before you come up here. Now what I like doing here to maybe save some time, you might say, I like lining up against this wall and just backwalking. It's an easy way to climb this. I used to side hop, but not very efficient. So you're going to come up to King Zora here and show him the ladder. Now let's assume you come here without the ladder. Obviously you are banking on one of the 2 checks in the main giving you the ladder. Not a very good use of your time, if I'm honest, but sometimes you might be desperate, so it may come down to it. So I show the ladder to the guy. He's gonna weep here. Actually, I can fast forward this as he talks quite a bit. We wait for the weeps. Obviously, in the randomizer, he's just gonna get out of the way ASAP, which is a godsend. Good stuff. Now, he went out of the way. Obviously, we wanna check out this hintstone here. Now, you can skip domain, for sure, only 2 checks. Bit time intensive if you ask me, but, you know, maybe you wanna be thorough, because if there's something here, it's quite another place to get back to. So we're going to talk to this guy who's going to start the minigame. You'd think, well, I'm going to dive there and do the minigame, right? Well, you know, there's a better path here. You have 50 seconds to do the minigame. There's a torch right here, which you need to light the torches down there. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to talk to him and then grab that torch. So let's do this here. Rupees are down there. We just go. 50 seconds is more than enough. We're going to come through here, pick up the fire. Now we're going to light the torch and do flame storage over there. If you saw my Deku Tree video, I think it's the second one in the series, you can do flame storage here really quickly, just retreating your stick or pulling out your slingshot, either or. Now we still have 26 seconds, which is more than enough. Even if it's a 5 diver, all the rupees are spread apart, you still have enough time to do this. A little, let's say an addendum, if you have a fire source, namely Din's fire here, you might want to do the minigame normally and then come over here with your Dins and light these torches here, right? Because obviously you have a fire source, and then you're gonna do the chest check down there. Assuming you don't have Din's fire, which is the more usual occasion, then you're gonna come over here. And remember, we still have the flame storage, so you're gonna pull out your stick. Just keep rolling. This is absolutely fine. You're gonna light all the torches and get your chest reward. Right, if you have not that many sticks, make sure it doesn't burn out. You just pull out your slingshot or open the chest, either is fine. That's a check for you. Now coming back, don't forget to get your fish. Very important, because you need to open Jabu, obviously. Even if I am not planning on doing Jabu per se, I usually get the fish, just because it's right there. Make absolutely sure you do not enter the shop after you do the minigame, because it's going to reset the minigame, you're going to have to do it again. So, yeah, don't do that. Especially if it's a shop sanity and you're like, oh, I forgot to check the shop, let me do this right now. Don't do it, man. It's not a good idea. Obviously, you come up here, and you're gonna see what he's got for you. In this case here, he's gonna give me the silver scale. It could be another check, obviously. After you do that, let's go to Jabu. So just come here. And, well, there's various ways you can do this kind of movement. I like side hopping here and rolling up to King Zora, lining up, and back walking the rest of the way. It's really up to you. So I come up here to Fountain. Frequently we see that Fountain is a foolish place, or maybe Jabu even, or Domain. If Domain is foolish, obviously we don't do any of those checks I just showed you. Assuming that is not the case, first thing you want to do here is get this hintstone here, like right off the bat. Now you read it, good stuff. Now you think, well, I have bombs, I want to do the ferry back there. Don't do it just yet, because after Jabu you're going to be in a better position. Unless, I don't know, you don't have a boomerang. In that case, go check the ferry, because it might have it. Now you're going to drop your fish here, and Jabu is going to suck us in to the temple. I'm going to fast forward, obviously, save some time. Okay, now we're inside. I'm gonna assume here you have the boomerang, okay? Just because it's very infrequent when we go inside Jabu without the boomerang, because it's only one check we can do without it. So unless you can help it, try coming here. So that thingy there, you can just shoot a seed from here. It's what I usually like doing, to be honest, because you can backwalk all the rest of the way. Otherwise, you can just go there and throw the boomerang or something else to open it up. So no big deal here. Come up here. This next part, you can just go straight forward. Just believe, because the platform is coming. And now we're gonna get Ruto. This part here, even if you don't have the boomerang, we're gonna see Ruto falling here right now, which is not usually the case in the random. I'm gonna fast forward this. She's already down there in the random. And then she falls. Now she's dead. Not really. Okay, so we're gonna fall after her. Even if you're doing this without the boomerang, usually a good idea. Just doing the first part, because then Ruto is like she's saved, right? So next time you come around, she's gonna be on the top part. If you were, I don't know, doing dungeon skull sanity or skull sanity even, the skulls can be important. So if you can enter the dungeon as a kid or as an adult, you can get those 2 skulls there. You can check them with a slingshot, and you can get them with the hook shot. I think with the boomerang you can get this first one as well. Actually, let me check that. Let us save state here. Now I'm gonna drop down here. Obviously, you don't want to do that if that's not the case, because you're gonna have to climb all the way back. Let's try a bit higher. Yeah, so you can. Good stuff. The other one, I don't think there is enough. Maybe there is. Like, I'm trying this out of curiosity, really. Never did this. You can get both the skulls. It seems a bit far. It does go true. Yeah, we can get both. Okay. So we can get both skulls as kid or adult. Doesn't matter. Let's load the state here. So if it's skull sanity or dungeon skull sanity, keep that in mind if you don't have the boomerang or something. Now we talk to Ruto here, and we're gonna carry her around from now on. Now she is upset that Jabu is... Okay. Now we're gonna have the honor of carrying her around, our fishwife. Now you just dodge the bubbles here. Coming around here, just throw Ruto there, and you backflip into the switch. Obviously there's a skull there, so once again, if it's a skull sanity, dungeon skull sanity, or if you need tokens for some reason, kill the skull, you can pick it up with the boomerang, or if not, you can just lift up the water and climb the vine towards it. Either way, you just throw Ruto up there and line up a backflip here. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to do it. Obviously it's easier to do this if you're... Okay, this is done. Hang on. Let me see if I can load the state here and do... It was a bad idea, because it was before her conversation. Okay. Pick her up. Now let's see what this would look like normally. Let me see if I can do it. Getting hit by the bubble surely doesn't help. Let me save a state here. Okay, so come up here. Throw Roto lineup, backflip. There we go. That's what you want to do. Most of the times you're doing Jabu here. Come up here, pick up Ruto. You can throw Ruto herself into the next switch. You don't need to drop her and use a slingshot, anything like that. And now the platform should be coming up as we approach here. Be very careful to not open the door without Ruto. I've done that once. It was not a very pleasant experience. In the rando, I usually find that the platform is on its way down here. I don't know if it's a timing setting or something. Here we're gonna have to dodge this guy a little bit. I can kill him, obviously. Doesn't matter. It just goes away as we approach. And now, I'll do the usual route here, which is you have the boomerang. We come up here and we can backwalk this whole area. Let me save state here. I'm not very used to doing the backwalk here. I think I'm gonna miss this. Yeah. So load state. I usually go front walking here. I know it's an angle kind of like this. I think this is good because it's a minor time gain, one might say, with a possibility of falling. So I usually front walk there, but you can back walk as you've seen. You can throw Ruto here. If you miss, just jump back in, should drop her. And this is the first room you want to do if you have the boomerang, which is going to be 99% of the cases of you doing Jabu here. But this guy just really target and spam boomerang. There's nothing else you can do. Just spam it. We're going to have a chest open up here. You can roll for it in advance. Should save some time. Get the chest here. Then after getting it, you just line up, back walk, and you're out. This next room here, you ideally want to have like like 4 deco nuts. Okay, Navi, you know that. So coming up here, what you want to do is just walk a little bit, the nut, another nut, one more here, one to the back. 4 or 5 usually do the trick. Good. The best case scenario is 3 nuts. You can kill everyone. Find it a bit RNG. Then you get your second check and Jabu here. Jabu not a very good dungeon in terms of checks, if I'm honest. Only 4. And now I like picking up Ruto here. Just save on having to go all the way through the next room to get her. If you leave her behind. Obviously you do need her for this next room. This is a stinger room. It's the only check you can do. It's the only check you can do without the boomerang. Now several ways you can do this. Let me save state here. The preferred way, or the one I like the most, is when I have a bunch of sticks to spare. So just come up the middle here, nuts again. Just spam sticks. You're gonna have spent 4. There you go. Pretty easy. Now, say you don't have sticks, what you can do, I usually make sure I have 2 nuts for this room though, it's very important. You can also use chews. So nut, should drop a chew, another. This one is down there we go. So 4 chews, 1 each direction, pretty easy as well. If you don't have enough chews or deco sticks, then you kind of have a problem. You can use slingshots, 2 shots per stinger, so for a total of 8 shots you need. If you don't have a slingshot, then you're going to have to use bombs, and that is the least preferred method, I'd say. You have to hit them with the bombs in the air, or holding the bomb up in your head. Preferably not something you're going to have to do. Either way, I find the stick method the easiest. Of course, the one that spends the most resources. I guess you could technically do a half stick trick here. Now I get the boomerang again. I forgot that I didn't have to open the chest. Let me try. In fact, since we're practicing here, let me do something here. I'm trying to set up a half stick here. I don't think it works because this wall is not solid. Yeah, it's not. You can't break a stick. Okay. Well, never mind, you really do need 4 sticks. Either way, just do this room, 4 sticks, or 4 chews, or 8 slingshot pellets. Get the chest, hopefully it's going to be something good. Obviously, if you find that Jabu is foolish before doing it, so you're not going to do this room, and you're not going to do the bubbles room. So basically you come from that first tentacle room to this one, straight up. This is the so-called Go Mode Jabu. 4 boomerang shots, roll towards the door, no chest here, pick up Ruto, and off we go. Now this final room here, there are a couple techniques. I'm going to show you my preferred one, which is not the fastest, but it's very safe. I think there's a faster way pulling up all the jellyfish to the center, but I don't find it very consistent, so I prefer doing this. I just keep circling the room, hitting each of the jellyfish with a boomerang shot, and then 4 shots to this guy. What I've seen some players do is go straight for the tentacle, and then as the jellyfish come closer, you nut them and then kill them all with a single bomb. Certainly faster, maybe not as safe. Now I can backwalk this part here, once again a minor time save. And now finally you're gonna drop down this hole. Once again, if you need Skull Total tokens, these are 2 easy ones you can get. There's 4 total skulls and Jabu, 5 with the one outside on the fountain. Very good place to come for tokens if you need them, and it's a medallion. Let's skip here. He's very excited by the Zora Sapphire. And now we're gonna face Big Octo. Okay, now she's going up. And Big Octo is coming down. Now this is one of those fights that if you did casually back in the day, I had a bunch of trouble with it because, let me sort of kind of pause here, because you had to follow him around and then throw the boomerang and then hit him with the Kokiri sword, everything. So it seemed like a complicated fight, but in reality, all you need is your boomerang and 1 Deku stick. You just stand still, don't do anything, let him hit you. It's gonna do half a heart of damage. Now, hit with the boomerang once, pull up your stick, do a jump slash, which is master sword damage, and bam, there we go. Very, very easy. You need 4 Deku sticks minimum to do Jabu Jabu, so keep that in mind. You can farm those in the domain, as I showed earlier. If you need Deku nuts, very important for the burning out fight, you can break these 2 pots here for a total of 10 nuts. If you for some reason need health or a fairy, there is one right here. Now this next room, I really hate it. It's a very troublesome room. It's in the save state here. So usually what I like to do is just come up here, throw the boomerang. Now this guy here, he's dick. So I wait for him to shoot, throw the boomerang, pull up a stick, jump slash, and there we go. Room is done. Now things that go wrong here, lots. You throw the boomerang here, and then you're lining up the next, well, maybe you failed the jump like I did. That's a possibility. Something else can happen, which is you throw your boomerang here. Now, as you're lining up, he hits you. Let's wait here. Say I'm lining up my shot here, and then he hits me, and then he can throw you off. And now you're kind of screwed because you have to go all the way around and try it again. I've seen a couple players do a different technique, which is going for the far pillar first. You kind of have to get a bit closer though. And then go for this one, and then finally jump. I do not like that too much, so just a recap, I throw a boomerang here, I jump, I wait for him to start his shot, and then I get out of the way, boomerang, stick, jump slash, and there we go. Now coming up to the final parts here, come in here. Obviously, if you know how to do the trick where you can go from the button and open the door right away, there is a setup for it. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not going to do it, but it is possible, obviously. Or you can just pick up the box here, which is pretty safe and sound. Now we should drop the box, and we are up to the final room before the boss. Now, obviously you want to hit that switch up there, and then go to the boss. There's a gold skull tool back there. Ordinarily, the game, let me save a state here. Ordinarily, the game expects you to climb up there and then throw the boomerang. If I have a slingshot, which is very frequent, what I like doing here is just I side hop to the right, backflip once, and then I line up a shot like so, maybe a bit lower. I promise the shot is not hard. There we go. It is a bit precise as you've seen, but it's not the end of the world. Like, usually I can get it pretty fast. Let's try once more just for good measure. So save state. 1, 2. Well, I missed. 2. I think in my position. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, final try. I thought this would be easier for me to demonstrate. Oh, there we go, first try. Okay, but let's assume you don't have the slingshot, that you don't want to do this. There's a setup here which I'm not familiar with. I'm gonna try it once. You can aim up here. I think it's over here, and then you side hop. Yeah, I missed. I'm not gonna try it again because I'm not familiar with it. Now you can kill the skull, especially if it's dungeon skulls or skull sanity. You kill the skull and just pick up the token. Now, assuming you don't have the slingshot, and you don't know how to do the setup, as I didn't know, obviously you're just gonna do the regular strat, which is getting hit by jellyfish apparently. There you go. And there we go. There are minor time saves in this room for sure, but this is good enough, I'd say, good enough. Now finally we come up against Burinad. Let's see if I can get an ideal fight here. Not a very hard boss fight, maybe hard to execute properly. Okay, so I'm gonna, hang on. What you want equipped here is Deco Nuts, Deco Stick, and Boomerang every time. Now I'm gonna save a state here. Come up to Burinad, and we shoot the Boomerang in each of the 3 tentacles up there. 1, 2, and now 3. After that, you're gonna pull up your Boomerang immediately. There we go. That's ideal. Wait a bit. Once again. Jump slash with your stick. Roll into Burinad. Doesn't do any damage. Now, Boomerang, stick, jump slash, roll into Burinad. Boomerang, stick, jump slash once again. There we go. So I'm gonna recap that. What we did was 3 tentacles. Burinad is out. She's gonna throw the first section of jellyfish outward. You wanna throw the Boomerang a bit after you destroy the 3rd tentacle. I don't have a timing precisely, it's more of a feeling thing. And then they're all gonna get stunned right in the middle. Then you throw a Deco Nut and you kill them all instantly. Now you pull out your Boomerang, wait for a bit until they are almost out of the ground, throw the Boomerang again, you stun, all the jellyfish are exposed once again, throw a nut, bam, and then you do the final part of the fight with Boomerang and jump slashes with your Deco Stick. You need 3 sticks for this final part. Let's do this fight once again. Just good measure. Let's see if something does not go right here for me, which would be useful, I guess, in a sense. Poach your Boomerang. There we go. Nut. Poach your Boomerang. Nut. Ideally, don't hit her there. Now, Boomerang, stick, jump slash, roll into Burinad. Boomerang, stick, jump slash, roll into her. And finally, Boomerang, stick, jump slash, and you're done. Now, Jabu is one of those dungeons that I really dread doing, to be honest, because it's kind of like Fire Temple or Shadow Temple, which we're going to cover in the end. Well, there's your item, your final check, and up here you really want to enter the circle looking straight up at Ruto, otherwise you're going to have to wait for Link to turn around, which is a bit slow. So make sure you are correctly lined up. So yeah, Jabu is one of those dungeons that I'm not a huge fan, because you can't really skip much if you're in go mode, you don't need anything. Max you can skip is the bubble room and the stingers room. So we have a little romantic moment here, which never happens in the randomizer. And now she's teasing us with the spiritual stone. But yeah, all in all, a very boring dungeon. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I guess if it's a medallion, you gotta do it, right? So one final thing here before I end this tutorial, as we see the Zora Sapphire animation, sped up, fortunately. And now, the one thing that we have skipped so far is doing the fairy fountain. So you could have done this as we came in, but as you can see, I'm farther along the path after doing the dungeon than when I was when it started. So a good idea to leave this for after. So there is a Skotolo here, if you need it. And there's a handstone, of course. And finally, you can get this with a chew or a bomb. And there's the fairy fountain for the final check you have available to you as a kid here. Obviously, if you know you're coming as an adult right after, it's very common to come right after to do Ice Caverns. Then you usually just go to land and play a song, usually Prelude or Serenade. Go adult and do this fairy fountain as adult, just because it's a bit faster. You string the checks a little bit closer. Right? After here, usually I warp out, either save warping to Kokiri Forest or playing a better song, because it's very slow coming out to Zora's Domain. As you know, you have to go through the fountain and then through the main, and then either dive to Lake Hylia if you have a scale, an acceptable compromise, I guess, or you have to go down the river, which is all in all a terrible proposition. I would never recommend you doing that. Alright? So this is my admittedly very long tutorial for, I'd say, Zora River, Domain, and Jabu Jabu. I didn't cover the river as adults. Maybe we can do that now. Let's see here. Return, warps, let's go adult, and we're gonna warp to 1 second, Zora River, from field. Yeah, so I usually am not a huge fan of doing this as adult, but you can, mostly because I can't do the frog check. So I'm gonna come up here. Checks that are open to you without anything are the pillar and the grotto. The grotto you don't need anything really, and the pillar is right up there. There's a setup here. I usually like killing these guys if I can help it. You can kill them with a hook shot or the bow. I'm gonna use the shield here. I usually make it somewhat high priority, having a shield for bomb jumps, and this is also very useful. So obviously if you have the hover boots, you're just gonna come through here and then hover that path and then jump, so pretty easy. If you don't have it, what you can do is, let me see if I can get this in a save state here. You line up with this fence, now hold the shield, 2 stabs. Now you should turn to the left. There we go. Now you jump straight up and hold up. Good stuff. Now you do 1 jump slash. Line up the very bottom of the sword with the topmost axe, the topmost vertex that it's kind of hard to explain without the mouse pointer there. But there is the 2 lines crossing up on the 2 platforms. You want to aim the tip of the sword, the one that you hold. I don't know the name. Sorry, I'm not a native English speaker. With the vertex. So kind of like this. Now finally, you're gonna hold forward and jump. Now you see, I didn't hold forward perfectly here. That's why it didn't work. I'm using an N64 controller, which is really good because I have a notch. If you don't have a notch, this is kind of hard to pull off because it has to be straight up. So let's load state here. So line up with the wall. 1, 2, shield turn, jump, jump slash, line up. Now finally, What you can do here is press start, make sure your stick is all the way 90 degrees upwards, and then you roll. And then there you go. You can get this without hovers on the pillar here. Finally, obviously you can't do Song of Storms, but you can do this final check here. And the final one on top of the river, you need hover boots for that one. I guess. Maybe there's a jump that I'm not aware of, but you know the drill. Like these specific strats are not really the focus of my videos here. And finally you get the open grotto here. Once again, there's a skull pillar here. Very useful. There's another one up in the river, right about after that bend there. By the bridge. So 2 skulls, you need hookshot for both, as you can see here. Quick reminder that this grotto is sphere 0. I don't think the pillar is though. That jump is not considered in logic, the one I just did. But this grotto is, so you can find very important stuff here, even bombs, which would make this place inaccessible as kids. So keep that in mind. Not a very high priority check area for me because it's so out of the way, but sometimes I can get screwed over by it. Alright, so this is it for this tutorial. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.